so that's the hand coloring. Let's move on to some Photoshop painting. Okay, so we have this one. This is a painting I made last night from a photo. And I'll show you how this one is actually a plug-in. Costs, I don't know how much it costs. They're not very expensive. It's a Topaz plug-in, is what it's called. So here's our original photo. You can see that. First, start off by duplicating the layer. Pretty much what you do on everything. And if you have this plugin, it's a Topaz. It's called Topaz Simplify. And all the Topaz plugins are pretty cool, and none of them are all that expensive. But you have all these presets over here. And you can see kind of what they do, different effects. This one that I showed you was the painting oil preset. Then you have all of these choices down here. You can adjust your saturation if you like it more saturated, and I kind of generally tend to turn the edge strength down quite a bit. But there's tons of choices here. You got the watercolor version, right? So pretty quick, easy, does a pretty good job. Again, it depends on the style of painting you're going for. There's lots of different styles of paintings out there. But if you, this style, for me, tends to work really good for landscape, scenery type stuff. I'll show you just another, maybe another little trick here. Pick another image that you can do with these. You can add Canvassize if you click relative. Say you want 2 inches of Canvassize all around. You click on relative, it'll add 2 inches.
Oh.
And we'll jump over to our Topaz filter, Simplify, here again. And you can see you have a different situation with every kind of image you do. Just to this a little bit, maybe. Okay, and I'm going to show you 2 possible routes to take this. If it's a, well, of course I did an oil paint, but normally you do a watercolor with this method. What we're going to do is we're going to blend the edges out to white. Moment of silence. But think of all the time it would take you to paint this that it's doing for you. Okay, so let's just look at a couple options here. You do have, under one of these tools, I think it's this one here, the Smudge Tool. And up here at the top you have your strength, and this works just like a normal brush. You can take and smudge your edges in. Now it's a little funny looking, but I think I would probably start out with a different method to start with and maybe use a little smudge at the end. Okay? So let's take our normal brush, and if you're under, you may not have these brushes, but you'll notice there are a whole bunch, thick, heavy brushes. All these different kinds of brushes in Photoshop. Thick, heavy brushes are these big, heavy brushes. Right? Kind of looks like this. So you can do a fair amount of things with this. I'm going to just double click the background and add a layer mask. And I'm going to add a layer below by command clicking on the new layer button and filling it with white. Okay? So this way when we paint it'll be white underneath. But you can take this, and I'm painting with black, if you notice, down at the bottom. And you can just kind of, and you can even paint, let's say you wanted to go 60%, you can paint with a little bit of transparency so it doesn't go away altogether, right? Anyway, you can play around. There's a lot of different brushes to play with. And you can kind of work out the edges. You can then also select this, hit Q, and go blur. Oops. Gaussian blur. And this will let you make this a little bit softer. This must be a pretty high-res image. It is. Okay, hit Q again, and now you have a selection, right? So you hit Command-Shift-I to invert your selection, click on your mask again, and it'll be softer. Or you can fill it with black, or any of the other things that you can do with a layer mask to soften those edges up. But you can see how that would give you more of that painterly type of look. Okay, so that's Simplify. Very simple.